The person clearly came with an agenda to try to push through.
Who says he didn't?
The evidence, for me, certainly shows something different.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to My Left Eye. The last few days have seen two classic examples of Zionist agents provocateurs attempting to disrupt pro-Palestine demonstrations and marches, only to be thwarted in their efforts to cause a scene. Here in the UK, you're probably aware of the media attention being drawn to flannel merchant Gideon Falter, who's trying to get the Met Police Commissioner sacked after he was prevented from carrying out what he thought was a cunning ruse to show that Jews are not safe, while the ongoing ceasefire marches in London take place. He's trying to spin the situation as being an example of anti-Semitism within the police, but a closer inspection reveals that there's more than meets the eye, now that a full-length clip of the conversation with the officer has now been released. Also in the States, Zionist staff member at Columbia University, Shai Davidai, had his gate pass revoked so as to stop him from entering and disrupting the Solidarity demonstration as the faculty showed support for nearly 50 students who were arrested at a campus sit-in. In both cases, the would-be perpetrators have ended up throwing the toys out of the pram and having public hissy fits, including on the news rounds, where the levels of desperation that the Israeli propaganda machine are prepared to go to were once again revealed. We're going to take a look at the incident in London first. Let's see what's happening.
I've already seen you deliberately leave the pavement and walk against this march. You chose to do that.
I was trying to get to the other side of the road.
Your comment about
to get to the other side of the road.
Disingenuous, whether you like it or not.
How do you want me to get to the other side of
I
the road?
will quite happily walk you over there.
I'm not trying to go
When you get over there, when you get over there, you'll be able to use the far footpath and go up to the
Let's just see.
So we do it.
That is things, man. I'm not trying to cross the road. I don't want to get right there. There's a big confrontation.
No, there's not, sir.
So it was quite a brief incident, as you saw there. I'm just going to play that again and pick through it piece by piece.
I've already seen you deliberately leave the pavement and walk against this march.
So first of all, that's at least the second time during the day that he's attempted to disrupt the march, as the officer said there. He's already seen him trying to walk against the march, that is, to walk against the flow of the march, to walk into the people. And of course, that's just a tactic to disrupt, try to escalate the situation. His end goal trying to be to try to get someone to physically or verbally attack him so that he can show that, quote, Jews aren't safe in London.
You chose to do that.
I was trying to get to the other side of the road.
Your comment about
to get to the other side of the road.
Here he's claiming that he's just an ordinary guy trying to get to the other side of the road. But let's take a bit of a closer look at Gideon Falter. He's not only an open Zionist, he's associated with lobby groups. He's also part of a so-called charity called Campaign Against Anti-Semitism, which just seeks to perpetuate Zionist lies and myths. He was even one of the people involved in the long-debunked slurs against former leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn. And he does have a history of this, as you're going to see in another clip I'm going to show you shortly. But also he's not alone. He's there with somebody filming him the whole time. He's also got a small group of goons around him, including a 7-foot-tall bodyguard. So this isn't just an ordinary person trying to cross the streets, he's an agent provocateur. And the police officer involved in this incident is also completely aware of his intentions.
How do you want me
to get to the other side of the road?
I will quite happily walk you over there.
So he says he thinks his claims are disingenuous, and if he does genuinely want to cross the street, then the police officer will walk with him, and there's a place to cross just a bit further down the road. But that doesn't suit Falter, because then he wouldn't be able to carry out his little stunts, would he?
I'm not trying to go
when you get over there, you'll be able to use the far footpath and go up to the
Let's just see.
So we do it.
That is things, man. I'm not trying to cross the road. I don't want to get right there. There's a big confrontation.
No, there's not, sir.
Yep, he's been found out, but he's still doing his best to try and disrupt the march. The part of the exchange that he's trying to draw attention to is the fact that the police officer said that he was quite clearly openly Jewish. But that meant that not only was the officer concerned for the safety of everybody on the march, given the fact that he's clearly got a pro-Israel stance, that this would escalate the situation. And if anything, the police officer's been responsible in his response. He says he doesn't want to go the way the officers suggested because there's a big confrontation going on, but there clearly isn't. I mentioned he's got a previous record for things like this. This is the clip I was talking about.
Under any circumstances. They're not going to turn them off, so they're not going to move.
So in this earlier attempt, he showed up with one of those vans with videos on the side. He's refusing to turn them off, clearly there to intimidate the pro-Palestine march.
Palestine! Palestine!
If you can ask them to step away from the front of the van,
I can ask them, but I can't force them. I can't.
they've got their hands on the van.
He's talking to this police liaison officer as though she's a police officer and has the right and power to arrest. But maybe he doesn't know that, and as the officers clearly explained, she can't do anything about that. He's refused to turn the videos off, and therefore he's not been let through.
They're on the steps in the highway.
They are put their hands to their van, but they're not.
They're actually, if you look at section 7, which you use on Just Stop Oil.
He's been pretty low in trying to drag Just Stop Oil into this. It's just his van that's being stopped, it's not the entire highway. As the officer's about to point out, you can see other traffic going past.
The highway's still used, everyone else is still using
Well, it's not, because we can't move. And they've currently got their hands on the vehicle, so it's section 7 problem.
Give me one moment.
He's trying to claim it's a section 7. That's just not the case. Again, he's completely full of it. Well, both of those attempts were quite pathetic, but at least now he's been exposed. People know his remit, and while these expose pieces have been going around social media, in future people are really going to know what he's about. Falter then found himself on the news rounds on Monday in an effort to try and save some face despite having been called out on social media over the weekend and his bullshit being exposed. We've seen some terrible performances from Zionist spokespeople recently, and this was no different. As well as managing to muscle his way onto interviews with major broadcasters, he then specifically asked to be allowed to debate Ben Jamal via video, which Sky News granted him. However, when Jamal pointed out some obvious truths to Falter, he suddenly decided that he didn't want to speak to him anymore. David Mensa might have some stiff competition for worst Israeli spokesperson if he keeps this up. He was truly pathetic. Let's see what happened.
He's not dealing with the fact that at every single march, there are thousands of Jewish people marching, many of them in an organised...
Not, what rubbish.
How can he reach such unfathomable depths in trying to deny the existence of the Jewish bloc when it's open and plain for everybody to see? There's plenty of evidence for it. Here, and here. He's talking out of his arse, but as you'll see now when Ben Jamal briefly explains that the Jewish bloc does exist, he all of a sudden decides that he doesn't want the interview to continue.
They're in an organised bloc, in a Jewish bloc. They are warmly welcomed at every demonstration. Some of them have put out public statements disassociating themselves with what Mr. Falter and his organisation were doing at the last march. So that's...
Let him come back to you on that.
First of all, I don't want to continue having a conversation with Ben Jamal. I'm happy to have an interview with you, but I don't want to carry on.
You did want to come on and talk.
Right. No. I'm not. Sorry.
He did specifically say.
I'm not criticising UK.
That you wanted to have the conversation.
I did want to.
Final
reply
thought
to
from
what
you
said.
then, Ben Jamal, if I may. Hold on 1 second.
Gideon Falter appears to have ideas so far above his station that they'd need an oxygen mask or even a spacesuit. The forlorn look on his lying face tells 1,000 words, and I've got no idea why he thought that demanding to debate Ben Jamal would turn out well for him. He's been exposed as a shy talk of massive proportions. Kay Burley, for all the faults, actually did a good job of reminding him that he'd been hoisted by his own petard, and his ruse to try and win over the public was shot down immediately. What a muppet. There's also been mud in the eye for Zionists at Columbia University in the United States of America. A small group of pro-Israelis, including staff members, showed up to attempt to disrupt a solidarity demonstration after nearly 50 students were arrested by Columbia police during a sit-in demo just a few days ago. Let's quickly see what happened with that one.
Shame on you! I have not just a civil right as a Jewish person to be on campus. I have a right as a professor employed by the university to be on campus. They deactivated my card. These are 5 lawsuits happening, but we don't want to do it. We just want to be Jewish and
So that was Shai, Davidai, who's a professor at the university. However, he was only trying to get onto campus to disrupt that peaceful solidarity march. And when it was discovered before he arrived that that was going to be his intention, he had his security pass revoked and couldn't scan his way in through the gates. His colleagues were less than impressed as well, with other faculty members who were on the Solidarity demonstration shouted "Shame on you," as you saw in the clip just then. Similar to Falter, his supposed cunning plan was discovered and then abruptly stopped, and then a public performance to try and persuade people that massively backfired. He's threatening to sue, but I dare say when he goes back to work, he'll probably face some stiff disciplinary action. So this goes to remind us of the continued low-level propaganda that the Israel machine continues to pump out. If you didn't see the recent video on the channel all about David Mensa, then please do check that out. You can hit the link now at the top of your screen. I continue to be dumbfounded by how they think the lies aren't obvious to everybody, and also how pathetic they are in trying to sway the public into falling for this propagandist ruse, while at the same time repeating long disproved and debunked myths, as I've said many times before. But let us know what you think about that in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons to help us out on the algorithm. We've also now got the membership program open with some great perks for you to enjoy starting from just 99p. Hit the join button or follow the links in the channel description. If you'd like to make a one-off contribution, then please hit super thanks on the video or follow the link to our Buy Me a Coffee page, where you can help to show solidarity and support the channel for just the price of a tasty hot beverage. All contributions are greatly appreciated. Thanks again everyone. My Left Eye, be seeing you soon.